everyone, may our greeting reach you all. This is our special episode prepared to you by Arts TV. In this special episode, we will cover one of the biggest events that will be held here in Africa by Africans. And I'll be staying with the President and CEO of Africa Celebrates, Mr. Lexi Mojo-Eyes. Thank you so much for coming here, for giving us your time, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, you look so good, you look so great, you look so...
Thank you, thank you. I should be saying the same thing about you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So to start up our conversation, please introduce yourself for our audience.
Yes, I'm Lexi Mojo-Eyes. I am President CEO of Legendary Gold Limited. Legendary Gold Limited is a Nigerian company, but I mean with operations around the world. You know, we are an event company, you know, a Pan-African event company, let me put it that way.
Nice.
And one of the events we do is Africa Celebrates, which we have brought to Addis Ababa, you know, because we know Addis Ababa is the capital of Africa, you know, and most especially because it's in partnership with the African Union. So, Legendary Gold, we have done Pan-African events, you know, like I said, all over the world, 37 countries in all continents in the world. You know, so we promote all aspects of Africa, you know, around the world. And one of the biggest is bringing it back to Africa.
Nice.
You know, bringing it to Addis Ababa. We are bringing the rest of the world to enjoy art, culture, heritage, technology, and business.
Before we go into Africa Celebrates, the biggest event, let's talk about Nigeria, because you've told us you're from Nigeria. Where is your resident? Do you stay here? Do you live in Addis Ababa? How was Addis Ababa when you first came here, you know? And let's talk about that. Okay,
yes, I am Nigerian. I stay in Nigeria. I have offices in Abuja and Lagos. I also have offices in Paris, in New York. Then I have partners around the world, like consultants that does a lot of our thing, you know. So I've been coming to Addis Ababa, I think, since 2013, you know, when I was initially invited by the African Union, you know, to start a project. And I think I have found here to be home. I mean, before Addis Ababa, my second home apart from Nigeria used to be Paris, because there in Paris, we used to take African designers, you know, to Paris every year. For a long time, we have been doing that. Okay. You know, so that became like my second home, you know, and since I started coming to Addis Ababa in the last, it's going to like 9 years now, I think Addis Ababa is or Ethiopia is my third home, you know, so most of the time I come here, most especially because I'm a Pan-African, so I fly Ethiopian Airlines. Yay. So whenever I fly Ethiopian Airlines, I transit here. And whenever I transit here, I drop by, you know, to hang out with my friends, to see how much we can push the horizon about the projects we have here as well. You know, so Ethiopia has been home for me for some time now. Yeah.
That's really nice to hear. So coming to Africa Celebrates, let's talk about how you guys started this event. What was the initial point for you guys to start this project?
The project we actually started with is called Africa Fashion Reception. Okay. Which is a fashion event that brings designers from all over Africa, with one designer representing each African country. You know, and we're having 2 of such events. We were having the African edition, which the African Union hosts. That was what brought me to Ethiopia the first time in 2013, when we started our partnership with the African Union. Okay. Then we have the global edition, which UNESCO hosts in Paris. So that means we bring designers from all over the continent to Addis Ababa, then we take them to Paris, you know, at the UNESCO for the global edition. From 2014 to before COVID 2019, we're having it every year here and in Paris, you know. But in 2021, the African Union declared that year of the year of art, culture, heritage, and they asked us to curate an event that fits into that theme. So that was how we came up with Africa Celebrates, art, culture, heritage, technology, and business. Okay. You know, and we had the first edition in 2021. And we had 18 African countries that participated. Okay. Then we had it last year, and we had 32 countries that participated. Nice. This year, we are having more countries, not just on the continent. We are having you know, a lot of guests and visitors coming from around the world this year.
Oh, okay.
You know, but over the years, it's been a big challenge. And I want to give kudos and credit to my local partner, PMG Events. You know, we've started, I mean, when we were having Africa Fashion Reception, we started with Iconic Event. You know, that was the company we were partnering with locally. You know, and when we were changing to Africa Celebrates, we started partnering with PMG, whose CEO was part of Iconic Events. You know, and I'll give them a lot of the credit, because if it's not for them, there's no way I would have come from Nigeria and will be this successful. I needed a local partner that is that knows what they are doing and that can tag along. Because for me, like you say, I'm Nigerian. We push things. You know, everywhere we get to, we push things. We don't have time to waste. We push everything to happen. We make things happen. You know what I mean? So if I didn't have a partner like that, it would have been difficult for me to work, because I know there are some countries I work and I do not want to continue working there because they are slow. They don't meet up with global best practice and things like that. You know, so I'll give them a lot of credit to have pulled along, to have remained there with us. You know what I mean? You know, so and over these times, we've had a lot of challenges. Things not happening the way you want them.
Yeah.
People not really believing in what you are doing, because you know how it is. I'm sure if it's probably an American or European that comes in here to say, we want to do this, everybody will want to support.
Definitely.
But because we are Africans, we take ourselves for granted.
That is so true.
You know, but this is a Pan-African event that we already saw. We already know that at some point, the whole world will come to Addis Ababa every year.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for rooms enough for people, because the whole world, because Africa Celebrates is to promote every positive thing about Africa. It is art, it is culture, it is heritage, it is business, it's technology, it's African cuisine, it's dance, it's African films, it's African music, it's African women empowerment, it's African youth engagement. You know, it is Africans in the diaspora, you know. So the idea is Africa in business. The idea is to bring the whole of Africa together in these various disciplines. And bring Africans in the diaspora in these various disciplines to meet in Africa's capital, which is Addis Ababa. And what better place to meet, even in Africa's capital in Addis Ababa, but the African Union. The African Union is hosting everybody. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll have dances from all over Africa. We'll have music from all over Africa. We'll have the movie practitioners, the film people from all over Africa, you know, and we'll have business people from all over Africa. You know, in the mornings, they talk business. They try to partner, they try to see infrastructural projects they want to do in Africa. You know, because in one place, you meet business people from all over the continent. You meet government people from all over the continent. Then you will meet Africans in the diaspora coming in to meet with them. So you don't need to travel to all 55 African countries. Here in Addis Ababa, you meet these various players, you know, and I mean, it depends on what projects they have. You may want to invest as an African from the diaspora in those countries, but you are meeting everybody in Addis Ababa. You know what I mean? So in the daytime, we talk business. In the evening, we enjoy ourselves. We enjoy African dance, African music, African local cuisines from the various countries. You know, and that goes on for 2 days, and the last day we have the Gala Fashion and Awards night, where you have one designer selected from each of the African countries, you know, to showcase their rich dress culture. Then we're also having an awards night that goes along with the Gala Fashion event. And the awards night, we're just selecting very few Africans, both on the continent and Africans in the diaspora, you know, that have contributed to the growth and development of the continent. We are recognizing what they have done and to also encourage them to do more on the continent, to invest more on the continent, so that we can create jobs for our youths and so that we can empower our women.
The next thing that I want to ask you, Mr. Lexi, is especially such kind of events have their own impact on the business side of our continent.
Yes.
And as we all know, the African Free Trade Movement is trying to help us secure our businesses throughout Africa. So what kind of impact or how can we relate African Celebrates with the African Free Trade Movement?
Okay, good enough. The African Free Trade Area, you know, by AFCTA is, I mean, like you have said, trying to make business trade on the continent easy, trying to make all the countries able to trade with themselves, you know, without too much hassles and things like that. And the theme of this year by the African Union is promoting the implementation of AFCTA. So the theme of Africa Celebrates is promoting African art, culture, heritage, technology, and business, implementing the AFCTA in this sector. You know, that's also the theme of Africa Celebrates. So everything comes together to match together because the whole of the continent will be here to talk business, you know, in terms of serious business, in terms of the creative industry and other areas. You know, so the idea will be for them to take advantage of AFCTA to go to take it to the next level. You know, and to that end, Africa Celebrates, we say we are partnering with the African Union, but it's with the Department of Social Affairs and the Department of Trade of the African Union. You know, so we have the AU Directorate that's in charge of trade as partners of Africa Celebrates.
Okay, so it's something that you guys are actually doing side to side.
Definitely.
Yes,
definitely.
And I hope that it would have its own impact on our business side of Africa.
Yes, that is the idea. It surely will do.
Yes.
You know.
The next thing that I want to ask you is, you have mentioned that the whole point of this event is to promote Pan-Africanism. I know it's a very wide topic, but I would love to ask you, what's the impact of such kind of events on promoting Pan-Africanism? And in fact, how can you even explain Pan-Africanism for yourself?
The idea is, you know, because I'm sure you guys in Ethiopia, you will not be able to relate because you are the only country on the continent that was never colonized. You know what I mean? Yeah. But for the rest of the continent that went through colonialism, they will understand when we talk about Pan-Africanism, you know, our culture has been eroded. You know, the food we eat, the language we speak, you know, the way we live, they've been eroded. Everything has been eroded because these guys did not only come with themselves, they also came with their culture, which sort of, you know, eroded our culture. You know, so when you talk of Pan-Africanism, we are talking of going back to being Africans. We are talking of going back to do those things our forefathers were doing. Because if you look at it, before English medicine came about, we had native medicine. If, for example, you have malaria, you have headache, whatever ailment you have, our fathers and mothers goes to the bush and they use herbs. And they walk. You know, and what the drugs we drink that is from outside Africa, what are they? They are chemicals that are not good for our body. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or is it the food that we eat? Our food are more nutritious. You know, when you are in Europe and America, you know, the chicken you eat, they are not tasty. Because they use chemicals to make the chicken go big and the rest overnight. Or is it the apple, is it the tomato, everything you see abroad. Do you understand? They are not organic.
Natural, yes.
They are not natural. But everything you see in Africa, they are natural. And if you eat well in Africa with what we have, you will hardly go sick. So all this adds up to when we say being Pan-African. You know, we are looking inward. We don't want to get influenced by what is happening outside the continent. You know, we want to be able to appreciate what we have better. We want to enjoy our music. You know, we want to enjoy our dance. We want to watch our movies. You know, we want to wear our clothes. We want to eat our food. We want to be proud of these things. Like the first time I came to Ethiopia, you know, when I ate injera, I didn't really get used to it. But now, virtually every day, I want to eat injera when I'm here.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You know, I prefer it. It's more nutritious. It's more tasty. It's more African.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes, it's spicy, but that's how our food is on the continent.
Yeah.
You know, so we want to prefer these things to what comes from abroad. What stops people from Europe, America, and Asia eating our food, wearing our clothes, imbibing Africa? So that's the idea of Pan-Africanism. Once we are proud of those things, once we consume those things, once we live by those things, people will believe in you. People from outside will believe in you. But if you don't believe in what you have, nobody will believe in it.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of Pan-Africanism.
Yes. So how can we relate African celebrates in promoting Pan-Africanism? Because, as you have said, there's going to be multiple countries, especially on this coming African Celebrates event, there's going to be multiple countries coming even aboard, not only from the continent.
Yes.
So how can we, plant this idea of Pan-Africanism deep down in our heart? How can this African Celebrate event has its own impact on Pan-Africanism? Okay,
good. The idea is for, already we are promoting every part of African culture in every area you want to look at it. During the 4 days of Africa Celebrates, we're encouraging everybody to wear our clothes, we're encouraging everybody to watch our films, we're encouraging everybody to eat our food, we're encouraging, everything that has to do with Africa. So when all these people come from around the world, Africans in the diaspora who have been abroad for a long time, they're not used to Africa in terms of what goes on here. When they come, they will wear our clothes. When they come, they will eat our food. When they come, all they will see actually is everything that has to do with Africa. So they do not have a choice.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So they will start learning. And even for those that are not even Africans, that are coming from around the world to attend Africa Celebrates, it's going to be exactly the same thing. Because we are not going to be serving them anything that is not African. So it's little by little they will get used to it.
Yes.
You know, and dress code for Africa Celebrates is African. So everybody that is coming from anywhere on the continent, they come with the African clothes.
Nice.
You know, those ones that are coming from abroad that does not have African clothes, there's going to be a 2 days exhibition. And one part of the exhibition is going to be for fashion designers from across Africa. So they can as well buy African clothes to wear, to come for the events. You know, so that is how the idea is to promote Africa in every way.
That's really nice. That's really nice. It's a pretty smart way to go by, I should say. This event is really big, and there are different sectors that are included in this event. So let's talk about how you guys select your designers that could participate in this event. Not only designers, but also filmmakers and so on. What are the criteria that you guys go by?
Okay, we have an executive board that selects, you know, and you can apply online, you know, africacelebrates.com. You know, there we have the dancers, we have the artists, we have the designers, we have the filmmakers. You know, in all these various sectors, we have an executive board made up of professionals in those fields. So that when you apply, we ask you for dancers, for artists, you know, you have to upload like YouTube links that we can see to see what you have done. For designers, they submit what we call a lookbook, which the executive board looks at. A lookbook is designs of their past work and their profiles, which the executive board looks at. If, for example, we have like, for designers, we only nominate one to represent each country. If, for example, we have 5 from Botswana, 4 from Lesotho, 3 from South Africa, 10 from Congo, we only select one. So they all send in a lookbook that the executive will look at and select one that will represent that country. Therefore, dancers and the rest is exactly the same process, you know, and in every other area. Then the business summit is, we have a partnership with an organization called Global Green Development Group. They are based in, they are an African-American company based in Los Angeles. You know, they are the ones coordinating the business summit. They are the ones bringing the rest of the world to meet Africa. When you go to Africa Celebrates website, you'll be passed to a link to them from where you can register. You know, then we have the Diaspora African Connect. That is the forum for the diaspora. For that, we are working in partnership with a company known as J Forward Global. They are based in the UK. They are a diaspora company in the UK.
Okay.
For the Women Empowerment Summit, we are working with the African Women Conference. They are an organization that is putting together the Women's Summit.
Okay.
You know, so for the film company is called Afro Film Alliance.
Okay.
We are working with filmmakers African filmmakers from Paris, from Los Angeles, from Nigeria. We are bringing, for example, one of the top Nollywood directors, because we're going to be having a workshop for young filmmakers. You know, it's one of the things we want to do. So we are bringing experienced filmmakers, you know, and to work with Ethiopian local film industry, you know.
Yeah,
so we are having workshop, we are having panel session, we are having film screening, you know. So we have a whole lot of partners in all the various components of Africa Celebrates we are working with.
Okay.
You know, and we have criteria. It's not just anybody that walks in, you know. You must be related to that component, and you must also have something you want to bring to the table, you know. But for the young, like the young filmmakers, like, I mean, we're having a youth forum as well, you know, and for youths of Ethiopia, I mean, I think Ethiopia will benefit much more in those areas, because the youths, you know, and a lot of young filmmakers may not be able to afford it to come to Addis Ababa to be part of this. So a lot of the young filmmakers and a lot of the youths, Ethiopian youths, will really benefit from all the training and capacity building and workshop, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be different trainings.
Yes, there are going to be different trainings and workshop.
That's so nice.
For young people.
Yeah, you have no idea how proud I am as an African to see this happen.
Yes.
Coming up to this event that is going to be hosted, this is your third time hosting African Celebrates. Yes.
Yes, of Africa Celebrate, but Africa Fashion Reception.
It's over.
I think this is like the 9th year.
Really?
The 9th year. So the Africa Fashion Reception is now the gala fashion event for Africa Celebrates. We turned it to the Gala Fashion and Awards Night of Africa Celebrates. Okay. You know, Africa Fashion Reception, we've been having it since 2014, every year. You know, but when we introduced Africa Celebrates, we now made Africa Fashion Reception the Gala Fashion and Awards Night of Africa Celebrates. So
you guys linked the two?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
You know.
So let's talk about the coming event.
Yeah.
We'll be celebrating Africa Celebrates on October. And tell us, how is that going to happen? What should we expect in this event? What will make this Africa Celebrates different from the previous events that you guys hosted? Okay, I mean, it's bigger this year. You know, that's what the difference is. It's far, far bigger. More people are going to attend this year from around the continent and around the world. We're going to have more entertainment. More countries are participating. You are going to we're going to eat more African cuisines, because more countries are preparing their local dishes for guests. You know, we're going to have more participants in the business forum. You know, we're going to have international participants as well in all the components. You know, the diaspora will be more involved this year. You know, so it's going to start with a grand opening. Africa Celebrates 2023 is between the 25th to the 28th of October. So the 25th, we're going to have a grand opening at the African Union, you know, where we're going to have keynote addresses, speeches, selected panel sessions, you know, and things like that. And we're going to highlight, you know, what people are to expect in the next 3 days. Then the next 3 days, everything moves to Skylight Hotel, where we are all staying, you know. Okay. So Skylight Hotel will host all the other activities, like the Business Forum, Africa Global Economic and Development Summit, you know, like the Afro Film Alliance, like the African Women Empowerment Summit, like the Diaspora African Connect, you know, all the various components will take place there. And this year we're having more participants coming in, you know, from around the continent, around the world. Then most importantly, we're having the Innovation and Technology Summit. Okay. There also we're having some training and workshop for young people in the tech industry, you know, and we have that one, we have a partner, Dumele from New York, and our local partner for that is 1888
They are into technology as well here. They are one of the biggest here, you know, so we are very proud to associate with them and partner with them. So it's going to be, the difference this year is that it's going to be bigger this year.
Yes.
As compared to any other time. So in the, like I said, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. we have all these serious businesses. But in the evenings from 7 p.m. to like midnight, you know, we have all the partying, we have all the dances, all the music, all the cuisines from the various countries, yes. The first 2 nights, you know, and the last night, that is the 27th, we have the Gala Fashion and Awards Night, Africa Fashion Reception, you know, where we'll have designers from different African countries, you know, showing their collection, and we'll be giving some awards out, a lot of entertainment. Then the last day, which is the 28th, we're going to have a mega music concert with artists from various African countries performing on the last day. But the big one also is there's an after event party every evening. That means there's a bigger party after the main party. You know, so I mean, all those guys that want to party, but I want to warn you guys, it's only going to be African music in the clubs. We are partying. You are not going to hear any music from outside Africa, you know. So we're going to have the big parties. After the events, from like 12, 1 o'clock, you know, we're all going to be partying in the various clubs in Addis Ababa, you know. So it's going to be fun. 4 days of real fun that you will never forget, I bet you.
So when is it going to be? I'm excited. Please let you tell us when it's going to be.
Yes, it's the 25th to the 28th of October. All our guests will arrive from 22nd, 23rd, 24th. The serious business starts on the 25th. Then the 28th is the last day, and people will start leaving back to their various countries on the 29th. But there are those that will want to tour Ethiopia after the 28th, because they're already booking for local tours to visit interesting places in Ethiopia, you know. So the event is also bringing in a lot of tourists, you know, and those tourists will also empower the local communities.
That is true.
Because the tourists will stay in hotels, they will eat the local food, you know. They will
listen to local music.
Listen to local music, buy some gifts that they will take back to loved ones, you know. So Africa Celebrates, we also enrich and empower, you know, the local communities as a result.
That's going to be really nice. It was a very good explanation. The next thing that I want to ask you is, throughout your journey, there's going to be a result that will always keep you going. So what have you guys accomplished throughout the year?
We've been working since after the last event. We're working for this one. Since November last year. The last event was October. Since November last year, we're working. And you know the funny thing, in January, the way we were working is like the event is tomorrow. Since January, since, you know, it's like the event is tomorrow. And even till now, it's like the event is tomorrow. We work like, you know, let me say, not 24 hours, 25 hours, not 7 days in a week, 8 days in a week. That's how we've been working, you know. So we've been working around the clock to make sure this is a great success. And so that in 2024, it's just going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be easier because we have a lot of more partners this year. We have those partners that came in late and said, we are waiting for 2024. You know what I mean? You know, so it's going to be big. Let me put it that way. I mean, we are working so hard to make sure everybody enjoys themselves, so that they're asking like, can you guys organize this every month?
Every week?
You know,
so the best part about hosting such kind of things is, even though you're going to be really stressed for the time being, once you see it happening, you'll be like, oh wow, like it's much worth it. So it also gives you exposure for very funny moments, you know, unforgettable moments that you will always remember. So let me ask you, Lexi, have you ever encountered any unforgettable moments, funny moments that you could tell us while organizing such kind of events?
Yes, I mean, it happens all the time because I've been here like forever. For your information, my company got the Nigerian fashion industry started. very long time ago. What you see about African fashion all over the world started with my company in Nigeria. Because why our colleagues were doing what they were doing for Nollywood, you know, which is the second, third biggest movie industry in Nigeria.
Yes.
Why my colleagues were doing what they were doing for music, which today Nigerian music has gone big all over the world. I was doing the same for fashion, you know, and I remember then my colleagues doing movies and music would come to me to say, please, can you get your designers to make clothes for our Nollywood stars, Nollywood actress and the rest, and actors, you know, and that made, I mean, having our clothes on those movies made Nigeria fashion very big, and every other country in the continent started copying from Nigeria. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying with all that is I've been here like forever, you know, and that is why even today when we plan our shows, when everything is going wrong, I am relaxed, you know, because there's always a way to get around everything. Everything has a way to work around it. When everybody around me are freaking out like, this is not working out, what do we do? I just laugh because it's just like this, everything works. You know, so I've had a whole lot of such moments, you know, having events around the world. Can I remember now, probably in, I think this was in Paris some time ago, and I brought my team from Lagos to Paris, and we're working with the team locally there. And backstage, Paris is France and is French, and we are English, we speak English, you know, and while some of the, I mean, my team was working with our French partners, and while my team was speaking English to the team, that team, I mean, this particular person was not understanding English. So they were trying to get the models out, get the models in to the stage. They were backstage to the stage. And my team was trying to get the next model to go on, and the makeup artist didn't understand, thought it was him, and he went up stage instead of the model. You know what I mean? Because of, you know, language difference. Yeah. You know, so that's just one experience. You know, there've been a lot. That's just the one that, you know, came to mind now. Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
and he ran into the stage and ran out, and I mean, people in the audience thought it was part of the show.
Yeah, they were like, okay, whoa, what is it?
They thought it was part of the show.
Oh wow, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So last but not least, what I would love to ask you is invite our audiences to be part of this event, and also what should we expect next year? Because you've told us that first it was 18 countries that participated in Africa Celebrates, then now it's going to be over 30.
Last year it was 32.
32, and now it's going to be?
32, we don't know yet, we are still counting.
Yes, but it's probably going to be bigger.
No, I mean, at some point it will be all 55 countries participating, with the rest of the world joining us. Obviously, that's where we are heading to. Yes. And all the countries are catching the vibes. They are all, everybody, I mean, we are happy. You know, sometimes, you know, when you walk and walk and walk, you have this big vision. You know, you walk and walk and walk and walk, and you see it coming to reality. Yeah. You are encouraged. Yeah. You know, the first thing is concept, vision, but it does not end there. The bigger part of it is the work behind it. The dedication. The hard work. Yes. People do not understand that, you know, when things start working. So when the various countries are reaching out to you, how do we participate? What do we do? You know,
how can we be part of this?
Everybody else, how can we be part of it? All the embassies are reaching out to you. The embassies are reaching out to the African Union. The African Union is directing them back to us. You know what I mean? And it's getting bigger and bigger. Yes. You know that, yes, I think that vision we had is something that will come to reality. You know, so I'm saying that, and that's what I say to everybody I talk to in Ethiopia. Because sometimes when I talk to, like, our partners and the rest of them, I tell them, like, you guys do not understand. I am not Ethiopian, but I'm bringing everybody to Ethiopia. Yes. And it's like I'm more enthusiastic of Ethiopia than you guys that are Ethiopians. You guys don't seem to know what you have. I'm sounding like, you know, the consoler that is mourning more than the bereaved. That means, you know, somebody lost somebody, and I went there to say I want to console the person. Yes. But I'm crying more than the person that lost the person. You know what I mean? Nice way of explaining. Yes, that's what it is like. I'm the one. I'm not Ethiopian, but I'm bringing everybody here. Yes. I would have taken everybody to Nigeria. You know what I mean? And get my government support, like they've been asking me to do. You know, I've done a lot for Nigeria in the fashion industry. Anything you see about the Nigerian fashion industry, I got it started. You know, the Nigerian designers are big everywhere. I got it started. Do you understand? But now I see a bigger vision is Pan-Africanism. And Pan-Africanism has to be from the African Union. And good enough, African Union is in the capital of Africa. You know, so when I tell them, like, you guys are not saying this. Yeah. At some point, I mean, when we were having the first event, I was telling them, this event is going to grow big, one. Yeah. Number two, you know, we are going to start small, but we'll keep growing. And after the first event, they saw it and they saw the concept that this looks nice. The second year, we got bigger. This year, we're getting bigger. You know, so my vision is at some point, all 55 countries will participate, but most importantly, everybody from, I mean, a lot of people from all over the world, last week of October, we want to come to Addis Ababa for Africa Celebrates. Yes. Like I said before, when the time comes, we're not going to have enough rooms for people coming from around the world. I can't wait. I guarantee you that. Yes. And it's going to be big business, big investments, you know, here and across the continent. That's what we are looking forward to. Yeah, I can't wait to see that happen. And for sure, we will see it happen. Yes, and definitely. As African Renaissance TV services, we will be glad to be part of this, to help out, and to be part of this journey in general. So, Mr. Lexi, thank you so much for coming all the way here and spending this time with me. I would love to thank you. Thank you so much, and I want to thank Art TV for your partnership and collaboration with Africa Celebrates. You know, we assure you, you know, we will continue this partnership as we go along. Definitely. You are going to be, I mean, you are part of the growth. You are going to be part of the growth of this. And I'm sure sometimes, maybe so many years to come, then I'll look very old, you will look very old, and we'll come back to this interview to say, oh, yeah, I mean, we did this like 15 years ago and we're saying, and then we're like, we may be like hosting like 20,000 people, 40,000 people from around the world. Yeah. And you'll be reminding everybody to say, yes, he said it. You remember this interview, we said it 10, 15 years ago, you know, so we look forward to a continuous collaboration with you guys. Definitely, and it's also our honor. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Lexi. Thank you for having me.